You got people on the side helping you with the grades and stuff, so you don't fail. It's beautiful. But you have to be the best of the best of the best to get there. And a lot of these players are international players. Everybody knows they're top international players. It's such a great opportunity. So it's really, if you're on the in your national pool now, you're gonna probably end up with a D1. There's different levels of D1. There's Texas A&M, and then there's Texas A&M Commerce, which is a lower grade D1. So there's two different types of programs, but the top was the A&Ms, the Oklahomas, the UTs. Oh boy, if you're really good, it's a really nice opportunity. So right now, you need to start investigating. Moms, you have to help them, dads, you have to help them, because a lot of these kids will not spend the time to go research the way they need to research. And what we tell juniors and seniors that are really close is that you have to kind of organize yourselves. You have to think for yourself, sit down with mom and dad, you may have to pull them in on a Tuesday night after dinner and say, we're going to talk college soccer tonight, if you really want to play. How many of you want to play college soccer? Okay, so where do you want to play? You want to play close to home so mom and dad can watch you? Your friends can watch you? Yeah, I saw your head shaking. Do you want to go away? Do you want to get away? I want to get away. I'm sick and tired. I want to be independent. I want to get away, right? I want to go to New York, California, Florida. So you got to decide what geography. But before you get too far into that New York place, that California place, you got to talk to mom and dad about that. The budget. Schools range from, on the low end here in Texas, room and board, full tuition, low 20s, to tuition only, 60 grand, room and board, 80 grand, right? So schools are expensive. So you got to talk to mom and dad about the budget first, and the geography, maybe at the same time, to get yourself nestled into the right spot, and then you need to start looking. And you need to look yourself in the mirror first and say, how good really am I? Mm-hmm. Are you the number one kid on your high school team, even as a sophomore? Are you the number one kid on the club team? Is your club team the number one team in the area? Is your club team the number one team in the state? If you're the number one club team in the state, and you're the top player on that club team, who's the number one club team in the state? Solar. Right? Those girls are probably the national pool. They've been discovered already. So they don't really have to worry too much about that or that. Is that you though? Look yourself in the mirror. My wife, I coach my daughter, I coach my son. And I'm a soccer purist. I don't care if you're my son, you have to play at this level and mix in with your team, or else I cannot play you. Because every parent will be looking at me saying he's favoriting his son. I won't do that. I can't do it. Plus, when I'm in a game, there's no discrimination on my part. Well, there is discrimination. I want the best player on the field. That's what I'm putting on. And it's late in the game, I want the best players on the field. Is that my son? If it ain't my son, sorry son, you're sitting on the bench. I told you to work hard. Too bad. So, my wife, I go home and my wife is there. How did you do that? Well, honey, he wasn't serving, he wasn't working, he doesn't have enough skill. He has just as much skill as Joe over there. Well, how do you figure that? Well, Joe made 3 mistakes, I counted. Well, our son made 4, 5, 6. Well, they all made mistakes, right? So, moms and dads, can you see clearly? Mm-hmm. My wife couldn't. To this day, she defended that little sucker. And so, look yourself in the mirror, moms and dad. If you can't quite see it, go to someone else. They'll be honest with you. The problem is, you go to Stephen over here and say, Stephen, man, how's my daughter doing? Is she doing? She's gonna make it. She's gonna be okay. And Stephen's gonna say, yeah, she's doing really well. What does he work on? Probably work on her dribbling a little bit and maybe not lose the ball as much. And it's really hard for Stephen to be honest with you and say, you know what, your daughter's, she doesn't work hard enough, she loses too many balls, she doesn't have much skill, she needs to probably spend an extra 30 minutes to an hour per day training, maybe privately, maybe with a coach. I'll come out here and help her if she wants. And then he doesn't play her as much in the game because what's going to happen is there's going to be another coach out there that's below Steven, and he's going to come and say, hey, you're a good player. You're so much better than you're playing on this team. You should come play for me. You're going to say that to your mom and dad. I'm pretty sure your mom and dad, if they're wearing the rose-tinted glasses, they're going to say, oh, it must be him. It must be him. And then we've got the problems of what happens in club soccer. But that's just a short-term problem. The long-term problem is you're not going to see where your kid really fits in here. So you really got to know where your kid fits in here. And it's hard to discover that because he's always going to say nice things. I'm always going to try to sugarcoat it because nobody can handle the truth anymore. You know, I'm sorry. And your team will be disgruntled. Your team will, I'm going to be honest with you. I had really good club teams because I knew I would sugarcoat things. I would give everybody 50% playing time because I figured that's my pack. I picked them. Sometimes they wouldn't get as much in the real competitive games, and they get more in the other games. But I would, if I thought I'm losing a player because of that reason, and the mom and dad's really mean and mad and upset, and I can tell that they're drifting off or trying out with other teams, I can sense it. They won't tell me, but I can sense it. I always felt like I had to go get better players. And I had to tell everybody, oh, guess who I got coming in this year? Blah, 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 blah. And everyone's like, whoa, we can't leave the team. We got to stay there. He got this player. We're going to be number one. We're going to, you know. So coaches will play that game too. So be careful, moms and dads. Coaches can play that game. Look yourself in the mirror, know who you are, know where you're at, and play down. I always say play down. We have girls that play for us. And they, I want to go D1. I want to go play North Texas. Well, I know the coach of North Texas pretty well. And I'm like, oh no, there ain't no way. You're fast enough, but you're not skilled enough. You're not committed enough. We have one girl on our team that plays all out. Training, games, everything, all out. Every moment she's hustling, she's competing. She wants to win every scrimmage like it's a championship game. Robert and I were talking yesterday. God almighty, she's got the intensity. She doesn't have the skill. She just didn't practice enough, didn't get on my team when she was younger. She doesn't have it. And we thought, wow, just imagine if every player had that kind of intensity out there. And I told him, I said, you know, Robert, that intensity right there is what every single player on the D1 team has. Our girls don't realize that. It's hard to go out there every time, be serious, work your butt off, hustle, 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 every drill, every scrimmage, compete, you got this fire in you. Not everybody has that. But at D1, those are the ones usually that make it up to the top. Plus they have skill. A girl she has that, but she doesn't have skill, so she's not going to go to D1. She'll still make someone really happy, get a lot of money, get her education, but she won't be a D1. A lot of kids say, oh, I got to play D1, that's for me, I'm the best. You know, they're the best, I need to be the best. Just kind of be careful what you wish for. Because if you go up there and you have a one-hit wonder, call it the one-hit wonder. Kid plays one really good game, and if someone sees him, oh, I got to have that kid. And they come to Steve and say, Steven, what do you think about Mary? Well, she's pretty decent. You're talking to D1 coach. Yeah, she would have an awesome game. Jay, what's the best game she ever played? I hate to tell you. They're come out with better again. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll sign them. Sometimes I gotta have it. And you get in and then you underperform. You don't want to go. You don't want to be seen when you're overperforming. You want to be seen when you're neutral and you can play that. You can replicate that game. Because if you can't replicate that game, you have a one-hit wonder. He sees you. You go there. Guess who you're playing with? A lot of really good players. You're not going to look as good. You're going to be disappointed. He's going to be really disappointed, and that's the last place you want to be. When the coach is disappointed at you, thought you were better than you were, you're not performing up to the scholarship they gave you, don't want to be there. Plus, he won't give you. I say when you play up, you usually don't get as much money. If you're D1, if you're borderline D1 material, guys that I think she's worth 20% scholarship to me. D2 sees you, wow, you know, I get all the low-lying fruit, he gets all the good stuff. This girl would be great on my team. She'll be good on his team, but she'll be great on my team. I'm going to give her 60% scholarship. Then down here there's NAI. D3 doesn't have any scholarships. NAI says, oh my God, she'd be great. She'd be good here. She'd be pretty darn good here. She'd be awesome. She'd be MVP. She'd be All-American here. She'd get a full ride. So, what do you want to do? You want to go where you're going to be a full ride, get a star, be All-American? Strutting your stuff around campus. Everyone's checking me out. That's her. Maybe get a couple of these All-American rings. Or do you want to go up here and be really good, but you probably won't get the All-American certificate. You know, you'll still be good. Go up here and you set the bench. Maybe your second or third year getting some minutes. Maybe get a lot of minutes your third, fourth year. But you'll never be All-American, and there's too many other good players. So those things that are going through your head, where can I get the most money, comes back to budget, and where am I going to be happiest? I put these 4 pillars up here because these are really the main pillars you need to look at. Where do I want to go? How much can we afford to pay my family? Do they have a good soccer program, a coach I can relate to and have it enjoy my 4 years there? And are the academics what I need? Some of you guys have special skills academically. Very smart. You want to go to a college where you can get a law degree or a doctorate degree. You're different. You're so smart, you're probably going to get a lot of academic money. So when I say academics, if you're really smart and really focused on a certain career, you can get academic money, maybe a full ride to a Harvard or some of those crazy educational schools that have good players come out of them, good programs. If you're really athletic and you're not so good in the classroom, but you're a super stud on the field, you're looking at soccer program money. If you're in between, you can get both. They can stack these things on top. They say, well, you know, your GPA's 3.9. I know the girl over at academics, she'll give us a 60% scholarship, and I'll give you a 20% athletic. It only costs me 20%, but you're getting 80%. So that's one of the formulas you can use. So let's talk about options. D1, D2, D3, NAIA. D1, big school. It's not the quality of the school, it's the number of sports programs and the number of money, how much money they got committed to sports. That's what makes them D1 status, not the quality of the team. There's some really bad D1 teams. There are some D2 teams that will spank D1 teams. My brother was at Midwestern on the men's side for 18 years, and he used to go up to Tulsa and beat them once a year. They're D1. He'd come to play SMU in the spring, and they would be neck and neck. They'd be 1-0, 2-1. They're just a notch below. My brother's team was a nationally ranked D2 team. So D2 teams are up there with D1 teams. As far as scholarships, what do we got now? Anybody know D1's got 11.5 or?
I think it's 11.5.
11.5? How about D2s? They're somewhere in that range. Maybe
It's pretty similar. I think
3 scholarships. They just don't have the money. They've qualified to be D1 by the money they put into the total academic programs, but they're not fully funded is the word, fully funded. So if they're not fully funded, you can pretty much give up on trying to get that full ride. They're going to be partitioning everything out. So let's talk about any of these 11 right up here, D1, D2. They got 11 scholarships, full rides. How many players they got on the team? 25, 30. 25, 30, because they have to deal with attrition and stuff every year, injuries. So they'll bring in some project players, keep a couple extra goalkeepers. So who do you give the 11 scholarships to? That's the coach's choice. He's going to give out, if I'm the head coach, I'm probably going to find 3 or 4 players that are worthy of a full ride. I mean, they are studs. They're going to carry my team. If I can convince them, I pay for everything, we're in good hands, they're in good hands. Then you take 4 of that, you got what, 7 left, 7.5? And you've got 20, at least 20 players that are worthy of some money. All you guys want money. Every youth player I've ever known, parents, they want some money. You've invested a lot in club soccer, you've committed, you go to practice, you work hard, you want to get some money. The education, right? But there's only 7 scholarships, 7.5, and there's still 20 players to feed. That's where the coaches have to try to be creative. And what they'll do is they'll look at you. They'll say, hey, who's your mom? Oh, what kind of car do you drive? Let's check you out. A Beamer, a nice Beamer, Mercedes, a nice big ring on, and dressed all, got the fanciest shoes. And they're thinking, she's a good player. She's got money. Let's make a deal. Okay? Hey, I like you. I want you to come visit me. And you say, oh, right, Mom. He likes me to come visit. You go visit. You have a great time on campus. You do well in soccer. Coach comes back and says, man, I like you. What's your name? What's your name? Really?
Alexandria.
Alexandria. Why don't you come play for me? And what's Alexandria going to say?
Okay.
What's Mom going to say? What's Mom going to say? Whoa. How much is this going to cost me? Right? He did not make an offer, did he? He's going to see if he'll say, yes, I'd love to go play for you. Ooh. Talk to your mom, see if she's okay. Yeah, she's okay with it too. I don't have to give him anything. Maybe. Okay, but what's going to happen is you're going to come back and say, yeah, we're interested. Can you tell me more about your school? How much does it cost? And that's when he starts going, ooh, money. They're worried about money. Okay, my school costs $30,000. That's room and board, tuition, room and board. And they want to know how much it costs. How good was she? I got my list of recruits right here. Right, Robert? We got a list of recruits. You better have, a school like that with money better have a lot of recruits. Right? We got this many recruits, so we don't have money. So, in your, what position do you play?
Left back?
You're a defender. Can you play in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a defender. And on this board, I got my different positions I need. Got a couple goalkeepers. And remember, I got 4 years of players. So in this particular year, I need a player. You're available. I got to go look and say, how many defenders do I have this year, Robert? How many defenders we got? Let's see, we got 7 defenders. Of those 7 that are eligible to play the year you're coming in, I'd say probably 6 of them are fighting for starting positions. So I got 6 potential starting defenders. And then I've got, I'm sorry, what's your name?
Alexandria.
I'm getting, my computer's so full of, and I don't got the new RAM in it. This is old RAM. Okay, Alexandria. Okay, so Alexandria, Robert and I look at it and go, okay, Robert, we got 6 returning that can play for us. We got Alexandria over here. 6, that would be 7. Do we really need her? I mean, we only have 2 returning forwards. We play with 3 up top. We need 2 or 3 extra subs. So we got 2 returning. If I do the math correctly, we need 4 more forwards. Is Alexandria forward? Oh, she's not. And here's this money. How much money do we have left? We have 7.5 scholarships left. How much can we afford to give Alexandria? She'd be a good player in 2 years when some of these graduate. But this year, don't have to have her. So then it comes with how badly do we really, are you a superstar that can come in and start? If you could come in and start here, well, she's better than what we got. Then you go up in the money list. But you're still not a forward, and we need forwards. And guess what? We only have 1 goalkeeper. We need 2 goalkeepers. I haven't talked about midfielders yet, so I'm running out of money, right? Does that make sense, Mom and Dad, how a college coach thinks it? And I'm not going to tell you any of this. I'm going to leave you guessing. Here's what I'm going to do. I'll say, Robert, we don't really need her. I'd like to have her if we could get her for the right price. I say we offer her $30,000. We offer her $5,000 scholarship. That leaves us a lot left over for these other positions. So I go back to Alexandria and I say, Alexandria, man, we'd love to have you. Man, I just don't have much money this year. But you'd be a really good player for us if you come in and play, do really well. Year after next, I could give you more money. You haven't told you how much I'm going to give you. Go talk to Mom. So you go talk to your mom. Mom says, where's the deal? How much money is he offering? He hasn't made an offer yet. He knows what he wants to offer. He's playing it. He's seen if you'll just, he's trying to reel you in. Well, will you come and, well, I know Mom drives that Beamer. I know you got the money, girl. I seen them shoes you wear. So Alexandria finally goes, Mom, I can't take it anymore. I want to play there. Please help me. Mom goes, okay. Call the coach. Tell him we're in. Call the coach, you're in. Geez, Robert, they committed. We didn't have to offer him any money at all. That can happen. Oh, by the way, I don't have any money, but I do have loans, student loans. You don't have to pay them off till you graduate, and it's low interest. Mom, won't cost you anything. So some schools, they won't exactly say it like student loans, we have money. Don't worry about it, we have money, sign on the dotted line, commit to me. We've seen schools drag them out to where they can't go anywhere else and they don't have the choice and they have to take a loan out because there's no money left. They actually get to registration, and where's my money? Oh, it's over here, the business office, you gotta sign a loan papers for it. So be careful, there's a lot of good guys out there, but you as moms and dads need to be the agent for them. When the girls come to our school, we take that over. We tell the moms that we're your agent, because we know the way these things roll. And we can call the coach directly and say, hey coach, you need a left back? Oh man, I'm dying for a left back. We're missing, I gotta have one for next year. How much money you got? Well, I got enough, don't worry about it. Okay, how much athletic aid do you have? How much athletic? Because this girl's budget is really low. We know, we've talked to you and your parents, you've come back to us and said, my budget, coach, is $5,000 a year, it's all my parents can afford. So we know that's the hot button. So we go back and forth and he gets you up for business, he likes you, and he says, well, what's it gonna take? I said, well, your school is $30,000. That family can only afford $5,000. You gotta come up with 25. And that's when we find out what we really got. He says, you know, most of the time with our players we sent to D2, they come up with it because they were really good players. And if they don't come up with it, well, first of all, they'll ask us for your GPA. What's your GPA? Because they're going to just go straight to academics. If I can get some academic money, because I only have so much left in soccer. If I can get some academic, we can get some grants here. There's a lot of things. Some of these coaches have a lot of different endowment funds and stuff they can go to if they really want you. Okay? So moms and dads, you know, be leery of that. Stephen can help with that because they'll talk coach to coach. They'll talk parent to parent, but you may not know as much as Stephen knows about all these details here. Another thing is, as we were talking, we have our players come to us. We know they're going to be here 2 years. Some of them 1. And we send them in an office, so we want 5, you pick 5 targets for your next school, for your education. And we want you to target it by geography. We need to know, every student I ask, what's your family's budget? They don't know. I said, you gotta go to mom and dad, you gotta find out what your budget is. You've gotta know that. Because if we're looking at a $30,000 school and we don't know your budget, we're wasting our time. If you got the money to afford half of that, or if you got a $20,000 budget, we know all we need is 10. So we've got to know your budget, your family's budget. Then we need to make sure you understand. Take a look at the soccer program, Google it, website. You'll discover, are they a consistent winner? Meaning, has she won anything? Has she been competitive in her conference? Has she jumped around from school to school to school? I'm not so sure about her. I really like her to get out there, and when the rubber hits the road, recruiting's one thing. When you go to practice, when you go to games, how your team does, how they handle it. And some of them are immature, they don't handle it very well. And these girls, they're supposed to be done. I'm talking about, this sucks. It's nothing like our program. I've had, when I was close coaching, I had girls that graduated, sent them to teams at Boston or other schools. Half of them quit after the first year because the coaching was so poor. The problem in America still is that there's better coaches at the club level than there are at college level. Because when a college hires a coach, they don't do their due diligence. They're not looking for a great soccer coach. They're looking for someone that understands athletics and budgets and those kinds of things and articulates well. And that's not always a good soccer coach. And they'll take a guy who's an assistant or like that college before they'll take a good quality club coach who's got the knowledge of how to put a team together. And that's why my daughter quit 1 year at Midwestern. She got a scholarship there. She went up there. Coach was nowhere near what she was used to. And all of her club teammates coming from Dallas are all club. They all played club. We all found the same thing. The guy wasn't a competitive club coach. But he got the job there. He was there for 10 years. And all he would do at games when they couldn't perform, he would scream, "Play your game! Work harder! Go for that ball!" Instead of, "Hey, the line's too high. Drop the line. They get this close to drop the line. No pressure on the ball, drop the line. When we win possession, you should be making that run." Instead of exact, precise instruction that, quite frankly, girls love. That's why I'm coaching girls. You love instruction. You love to do what the team wants you to do. you're very smart, you're very intelligent, you wanna play the game right. But if you got a coach that doesn't know how to teach you how to play the game right, and teach you the details of what you do in this scenario, what you do in that scenario, and all he does is scream at you to play your game. What is your game? Play your game. I hate it so often. I'll sit in stands. No offense, parents, mom doesn't play your game. What the hell is your game? What is your game? When we're playing a really good team, our game is pack backs, we'll work the counterattack. We're playing a crappy team, we'll press them all over. 2 different games. And a lot of times, if you're playing against opponents that's faster than you, more skilled than you can't play your game. They'll disrupt it. They'll win the ball constantly. So you got to change it. That's the beauty of soccer. That's what we love about coaching. We get to tinker toy. This is we're going to take it right here instead of left. Okay, so D3, NCAA D3, D1 has money, D2 has money, D3 has no money by mandate from the NCAA. They're academically focused. They want you to come get a great degree. They have a little less training time in the fall, fewer games, very few games in the spring, less training time in the spring. They don't want it to interfere with your grades. D1, ooh boy, if there's a quality D1, top tier D1, you are in the weight rooms in the morning, you are training in the afternoon, and who knows what's happening in the evening. You are traveling all the time, you better be on the ball. You better like being fit and working hard. They got you, you're like a pro there. You're on a scholarship, even if you're not, you're in a big program, you can't work, you got totally connected. D3. Okay, we're being kicked out of here. I'm almost finished. D3, no scholarships. Academic aid only, but decent soccer. They have some really good decent programs. NAI, smaller schools, smaller programs, lots of money. You can find some good ones if you like small school setting, small city. NJCAA is a junior college, two-year schools. D1 has lots of scholarships. Some of them are fully funded. They get 18 scholarships. Small towns, good programs, good competitive programs. They'll play the big boys with us. We play at the top D1 level. D2 has tuition only. I mean, D2's around here in other parts of the country. D3, no scholarships. We have a great team because we're in Dallas. We got a lot of players. We got a competitive club on every street. So we get lots of kids that want to stay close to home. Lots of kids. Our tuition is $1,000 with books if you're in Dallas County, and if you're not, it's $1,500 compared to $10,000 in school. So we get a lot of kids that offer scholarships, but their parents don't have the budget to pay $10,000. So they live at home. They go to school. If you're in Dallas County, you get to go to school there free. You live in Dallas County. So we're very affordable. And that's why we get a lot of good players that either haven't found the solution to their interests in college soccer, and they want to play at a high level. They want to play immediately. They want to play against top teams. They want to win championships. They want to get the All-American certificates and All-Conference and all those accolades we get. Every player that's come through has gotten one of these championship rings. These are to die for. Trust me. As I tell every other recruit we have coming in, and our own athletes, name one college women's team in Texas that has one of these in the last 5 years. Any level. Name one. 5, 4, 3, 1. There aren't just us. And Tyler at a Tyler. They're junior college as well. So they offer some good things, but they don't offer this puppy. And this puppy lasts a long time. You know how long this will last?
4 lives.
Your whole life. All right, guys. We're going to step outside. We'll go down here in the hallway. I'll answer some questions, and then we'll take you on a tour.